Good evening and welcome back. So in this tutorial we're going to look at how to create the sword for our character to hold and bring that over into Unreal to set that up. So I'm not going to use any reference images for my sword. I'm just going to very quickly knock one out. You can do one out of a cube or whatever you like to do. I'm going to use Quadra. I'm in Maya 2016 because I prefer Quadra in 2016. In 2018 you have to make an object live, and you can only kind of draw directly on another polygon that way, and it's kind of annoying. So I don't want to use that one, so that's why I'm in here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my tool settings, which is right here. And if I scroll down, there's Quadra right there. You can also access Quadra from, make sure you're in modeling, go up to Mesh Tools, and then come down to Quadra right here. So either way it works. I'm going to go ahead and grab that, and I'm going to go into a top view to make life easier. And let's see. I know my character is going to be a certain size. I'll just resize this later. So I'm going to start with a point. So if you've never used Quadra before, you click 4 points, hold Shift, and then if you click in the middle, you can see it fills in the polygon. You can move the points or the edges or the face wherever you like, and you can continue to add on points, and they kind of snap to each other. So if I made a polygon out here, I can snap this to there, and like this to there. Where are you? Don't be a butt. And if you have soft select on like I do, it gets kind of annoying. If you notice soft select's on, just press B. It turns that off. Ink. There we go. Okay. So I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to nuke that out of the way. I'll move this in the middle here. And for this particular weapon, I'm only going to do 1/2 of this thing. Make sure this is my blade. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good, good, good. And then I'll make my next. Fill that in. You might be wondering why I'm going through this. Well, because I had no good reason. Gonna make my guard. That'll work. If you ever find that you want to split a polygon, you can hold down Control, and it will split for you. I'm going to do that. To delete a polygon, it's Control Shift, and then click to delete. So I'll get rid of that. And then I need the handle. Again, I have no frame of reference for the sword that I'm making, so it's just kind of whatever. Well, that's kind of cool. I'll do like a little flare at the end. That's fine. Grab that. Maybe I'll do something fancy on the hilt. Doesn't matter. And let's say I'm happy with this. I can just press Q to get out of Quadra. I'm going to take this, make sure that everything's nice and aligned in the center. So go ahead and grab the center vertices right here. Make sure I'm in vertex mode. And then to snap these to the middle, I'm going to hold down the X key and then just drag the arrow. If you notice yours don't snap and align properly, just make sure the retain component spacing is off. So we'll go to the little hammer here under Move Snap and just make sure that this retain component spacing is unchecked. So now that these are snapped nice and even, I am going to mirror this. Actually, I'm going to go adjust this real quick. Good enough. Grab that and go up to Mesh, Mirror Geometry. Let's see, positive X is here, negative X is there. I'll be in the negative. I'll merge with original vertices and I'll hit apply. So there's my sword. As per usual, make sure that the things in the middle are still in the middle. So I'll go ahead and grab my vertex and grab the middle vertex. See if it splits. If it doesn't, we're good. Awesome. And I don't like how thick this is, so I'm going to grab these guys here. And I'll just use my scale tool to scale this out. So there's that. Yay. Now there is something else I'm going to do. I actually don't want this to be attached to my handle just yet because I'm picky and OCD. So I'm going to go into face mode. I'm going to grab these 4 faces here. And under Mesh Tools, I'm going to go down to Extract. And I'll keep separation, separate faces, yes. Offset's fine. I'll just hit Extract. And what that does, it splits the mesh into 2 pieces. There's this, there's that. I'm going to extrude the handle from here, so make sure I'm in object mode. I'll hit the extrude button, and I'll bring this up to, say, about there. That's probably good. Now I extrude it so I can round this off a little bit and get some nice tapering. So let's see how a bevel does. So I'll grab these top edges. Where are you? Let's go to Edit Mesh and then Bevel. Yeah, that could work. Give it some personality, you know. I'll do that on both sides. And if you're not sure how I'm grabbing the line as quickly as I am, I'm just holding Shift and double clicking, and it'll go straight through until it reaches a point where it can't turn. Pro tip, you can press the G key to redo a previous action. My previous action was beveling, so I'll just go ahead and press the G key, and it'll re-bevel. And I believe I set this to a fraction of 1 last time, which I did. So there is the sword kind of rounded off, which is nice. And now I need to split along here to attach my my blade. So I'm going to go to a side view. To make life easier on centering this, I'm actually going to go to Modify and then Center Pivot. And then I'm going to snap this to the middle of the grid. So I'm going to hold down X, snap to grid. Let's go ahead and grab our Edge Loop tool, insert Edge Loop, and I will put that right on the middle. And sometimes the edge loop doesn't appear in the middle, so I'm going to hold down the X key, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag that edge loop to the center. Now the reason I put this edge loop in here is you'll see in a minute, when I make this blade, I'll have something to attach this to. So take my blade, I am going to do an extrusion. I don't want my blade to be as thick as the handle, so I'll just extrude just a little bit. That's good enough. I'm going to center this up, so modify, center pivot, go into my side view here. I will snap this to the middle of the grid, like so. And you can see that our blade kind of fits here, but our blade does not have an edge on it. Our blade is kind of flat, like a butter knife. So I'm going to add the edge loop. So go and grab my insert edge loop tool. Just throw one in there, and I will center it again. Move tool, hold down the X key, snap to the middle of the grid. Now you could bevel the edge here if you wanted to. I'm not going to bevel this time. I'm actually going to grab the outer edges. I'm going to do the top and the bottom this time just to save a little bit of time here. And let's see if I can just pull those in. That works. But I didn't get these vertices here because I was on edges, so I'm going to go ahead and grab those. Vertex mode. I'll grab this vertex on top and the one on the bottom. So you and you. I'll just use the move tool and I'll just pull these back to some point. Cool. You can see I have a little bit of shading on here because when we did that we bent the normal. The normal is actually facing a weird direction. So I'll go up to mesh display and I will just hit set to face. Now it's nice and flat. Now I'm going to actually attach my blade to my handle. You don't have to do this. You can actually just leave this as is and it'll live just fine, right? Just as a cleanup step, whenever you're attaching stuff, make sure you get rid of the innards because you don't want internal faces. So I'll go to face mode. Anything on the inside, I'm going to cut. So I'll grab this. Just delete those off. And where I'm going to attach it to, right here, I'm going to also cut. So faces, and I'll get these off. Put that back to 0. That works. Alright, so to attach this, I'm going to actually add an edge loop right here so that this will face better. So I'm going to grab this. Let's do the edge loop tool. I'll add a loop right here. That way, when I attach this to the sword handle, make sure it combine. When I attach the sword handle and grab my weld tool, you'll see when I do this, it changes the shape of the blade here. So I just want to make sure that I'm not losing the good shape. And I'm attaching blade to handle, not handle to blade, to kind of get this effect. And I did not attach the center vertex because I need to move that out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. So I'll move that one out of the way, I'll move this one out of the way. And now I'll attach them. So there's that. Now that's attached. Once again, I'll set the normals to face. And there's the sword. One last thing I want to do to this before we do the UVs is to center the handle, or the pivot onto the handle. The reason for that is it'll make life easier when it comes to setting it up in Unreal. So I'm going to press the D key. And I will just snap this. I happen to have this wonderful center line on my handle, so I'm going to hold down the V key and just drag this blue arrow to snap it there. I'll press D again, and then I'll hold down the X key and snap this to the center of the grid. Remember that if you don't put this in the center of the grid, when you export, it'll inherit the position from world 0. So it's just important to put this at world 0. Alright, I've got my sword. Let's go ahead and do the UVs real quick because we need those. You can see the UVs are not very pretty. So I'll bring this up, go to my UV editor. I will do a planar from the top. So planar options, I'll grab the Y value and then hit from the top. That gives me this projection. Close that, open this up, hit the little darken button so I can see my sword. I need to split this into a couple pieces, one for the blade, one for the handle, one for the pommel piece. So you have your wrist guard, your pommel handle thing, and then that. You can really do all these as one piece, but a lot of times this is wrapped like leather, and this is metallic but a different color, and then this is like the sword color. So I'm going to separate each one of these by using by cutting the edge loops. So I'm going to go into edge mode. First part is to grab the center line, so I'll just double click, get the center line. That's cool. This is why I work in quads. It's so much easier to do this stuff. Polygons, cut UV edges. That'll split my top and bottom. I'll go to UV mode and then double click. That lets me split this off. Nice and easy. Okay. And now I need to split the handle and the pommel. So let's go ahead and grab this thing, double click, double click. So there's that. Then I'll get the blade, double click, double click. Yep, and double click. Polygons, cut UV edges. UV selection, I can take the blade pieces off. And then these pieces off. Time to lay this out, right? So I want this to be laid out in a way that it's easy to deal with. Guess I could do that. Meh, I'll just unfold. So I'm going to grab that, that, and that. Let's grab all these. Oh, make sure we save this because sometimes the unfolding ruins life. So I'll just save this. Where's classes, items? I'll do this. I'll call this item sword. Always good to save smart, save often, which we didn't do yet. Okay, so select these in UVs. Polygons, we will do the unfold, hit options. Make sure we're using unfold 3D. If you don't see this, you'll have to go to, where are you at? If you don't see unfold 3D, that's under Windows, Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager. And then scroll down to unfold 3D, which is here. They're all alphabetized. Just make sure it's loaded and auto load. If you're using the legacy version, you'll get a really crappy unfold. So unfold, and I'm going to leave pack on, let this pack itself. I'll hit apply. Okay, so this is packed, not the way that I would do it, but it's good enough. I'm just going to move stuff out of the way because I'm picky. Blade. Do. I'm lining these up the same way, so it's easier for me to just texture map it. That's why I'm doing that. Give enough space between. And this one, let's do this way. Good enough. So this will be fine for UVing, and light mapping. If you want to export this to Photoshop, we'll just select it all, polygons, UV snapshot, set the size that you want. I'm using 2048. Out UVs, I'll just call this sword UVs. Pick a color and then hit OK. We're not going to do the texture mapping for the sword in this video, but we might do it later on. I just wanted to have it done, that way you could have it finished. Alright. I'm going to clear all this history, so edit, delete by type, history. I will freeze the transforms. Where are you at? Modify, freeze transforms. Okay. Save it. And then lastly, I'm going to do an FBX export. Call this static mesh, sword. And this is no animation. Make sure geometry, smooth groups is checked. Just export that. Okay. Hopefully this didn't take too long. I think we're like 20 minutes in. Ouch. So I will catch you guys in the next video, and yeah, I'll just see you then.